been a long time coming for the offseason to come to its conclusion. Everybody's geared up and ready to go for the play-ins, and 6 spots on the line, as they mentioned, and no better way to get it started off, really, than the Birds and Bees, than the Doods. It's a lot of people we've already seen before, and a lot of people with some second chances here again.
Yeah, it's exciting for both of these teams. The Dust kind of touched on the Doods, a little bit of a legendary team here in the North American Rival Series, a team that's been around for a very long time, have been in the Rival Series, haven't quite made it before. They're back here again on a qualification match. And then on the other side, you have Birds and Bees, who have looked extremely strong throughout the offseason and really have been one of the favorites coming in. It's, of course, the #2 seed here today. So for both these teams, the expectation is to make it. The expectation is to make Rival Series, and they're one series away to doing that.
And I think my slight favorite has to go to Birds and Bees, just because, or sorry, the Doods.
You're flip-flopping already.
I know, I'm losing my mind, but it's really, it's all Hawks and Mist. Those are on Birds and Bees. So I was right the first time. They're confusing me because I'm still used to calling them Afterthought because I'm still locked up on the WSOE performance that they had. They performed great with Shock. And I remember I picked them to beat Flipside Tactics at that time, and they almost did it. And it's definitely a team that I have to favor with Hawks and Mist. Can they do it with Roll Diz? I think so. Roll Diz is a guy who's been around the block before plenty of times.
Yeah, and you know, just looking at how these guys got here, the Doods 3-0'd RBG to get to this point, and then of course Birds and Bees took down Icy, Lacinio's team, in the play-ins in the upper bracket to get to this point in another 3-0. So they're coming off of both clean sweeps here. I'm excited to see and anxious really to see how these guys perform on a big stage.
And it's about to get underway here in game #1 with Birds and Bees and the Doods. Can't wait to see how things shake out. And some new names as well. Joe Freshness, a guy that we haven't really got to see a bunch of on the Doods, so curious to see how he will perform on this stage for the first kickoff of the Rival Series play-ins, going to be favoring Roll Diz, Hoxer, and Mist, and it's punched out in the corner, and Joe Freshness, the first clear out to the midfield line.
You want to see how the Birds and the Bees here start things off. Again, a very strong off-season for them. The #2 seed coming into here, and you kind of expect them to take down the Doods here. You want to see the Doods come out fighting in full force here against the Birds and the Bees.
Well, already trying to generate some pressure. Skills actually gives up a little bit of space in the corner. However, a nice recovery, able to get it through the midfield line, and Roll Diz going to buy time for his team back towards his own half. Air dribble to the midfield and met by Ralph.
You really like to see how Roll Diz approaches that ball, getting control of it, and then staying behind it so that the challenge, when it comes through, he's able to meet him full force and not let the challenge go through him.
Joe Freshness, good center, but a nice clear from Roll Diz, and Mist trying to hunt for boost and dodge a demo and make a quality challenge. A lot on the list to do. He accomplished it brilliantly, and Hoxer with a center, but nobody's going to be home for Birds and Bees, and an easy clear caught by Mist. Back wall, able to get it out to the corner was Ralph. A tough clear to make. And the Dude's hanging on fairly well right now, but nobody able to really generate a quality scoring chance yet.
But the Birds and the Bees do have most of the pressure here so far. Dude's finally on the breakout here, but no boost for Ralph. Doesn't really let him set up the play. Skills tries to salvage it. It's a double commit coming out from Hoxer and Roll Diz. A little miscommunication coming out from Birds and Bees, but still able to push the ball down the field and buy out some time.
And Skills just wants a little bit of space. Ralph to continue. It will not take the most favorable of bounces in towards the midfield. Skills off the ceiling. Joe Freshness right there. Muscles it through one, but it will be just off the mark. And Roll Diz to clear.
That was a fantastic pass coming out from Skills, using the ceiling straight down to his teammates. Not able to convert, but great idea from the Dudes.
Ralph going to let Joe Freshness take this one past the midfield line. Mist waiting patiently for his opportunity, and it comes in the form of one around the top corner. Just couldn't get a handle on it. And Ralph to the midfield line. Should be a touch for Roll Diz. Skills to meet him. And pressure being applied here by the Dudes. Can they hang on to this ball as Roll Diz? He's in a bit of an awkward spot. It's a free ball here. This is where you really need to start to put the pressure on the opposition. Can they lock down on these clears? But nobody on the midfield line despite all the time given.
And Birds and Bees get out there, but it has been 2 big double commits coming out from Hoxer and Mist both times, letting the space open up for the Dudes, and that's what kept them on offense. Birds and Bees get out, but you're seeing a lot of miscommunications coming out.
Ralph, midfield line, Joe Freshness, back wall, and there to meet it was Mist. Skills in a race for the ball, off the ceiling one more time, and that will be Hoxer to try and take it out on a dribble. Skills in the right place at the right time. He's able to keep the pressure going, and the Dudes have really been stingy and not letting Birds and Beez do much.
Oh, fantastic.
Hoxer can't do anything. The first one on the board goes to the Doods.
I love the patience coming out here from Skills. He takes the first touch, lets it roll into his car so it pops up when it hits him, and then he puts it back post away from the defender. It's a beautiful setup play from Skills and a great shot to convert.
And it was kind of all there at the right place at the right time for Skills. He was just trying to steal boost in the corner. That ball just kind of pinged right off his car. And sometimes being in the right place at the right time will pay off, and Birds and Beez is going to have to figure out how to get it going back as Ralph and Skills with a double commit on the midfield line. However, they still have an opportunity right in front of the net. Hoxer will let Roldiz handle this one.
And already you can see, I pointed out before, Birds and Beez, because of the miscommunication, especially at the top of their box, the Dudes have been able to kind of penetrate the defense a lot more than the Birds and Beez feel comfortable with. And with all that space, it lets Skills set up plays that we just saw, the solo plays to the back of the net. It's a great start for the Dudes.
Hoxer with a nice 1-2 off the midfield. An extra touch is not quite able to get it past one more on the midfield line. And again, Joe Freshness just going to pound this ball into the corner. Hoxer continuing back towards the blue half. Skills will let it go, and it's a great clear from Joe Freshness up to Ralph, and just running out of boost. Missed to return fire, and we're back into the blue corner. First opportunity for Birds and Beez in a long time to really get the offense to stick.
And the Dudes are doing a great job of transitioning out of their own end and making the Birds and the Beez fight for a way out of their own end. You see all three of them sitting on their goal line, and it bounces over everyone. Joe Freshness has a shot, dunked away by Miss, and maybe back the other way for Birds and Beez.
Brilliant job, and he needs a soft touch, and Joe Freshness diving from the top of the box to get that one off the back wall to safety, and Miss to continue the push. Hoxer, I'm not sure how much boost he really has in the tank to work with. He will just give up the ball, and a great block from Mist, but still struggling to really get a quality goal-scoring opportunity. Time continues to tick here for the Birds and the Beez, and it might go seed number 7 for the Dudes in game number 1. Can they get one more opportunity? Hoxer is going to need help. Roldiz lets it go, and it'll be Missed to control. Fake through one, Skills to delay. Block from Roldiz. He's going to need assistance. Open net, nobody home. Joe Freshness has uncontested clear, and the final 10 going to tick down.
And nobody from Birds and the Beez there on that last attempt, and a missed touch from Roldiz might end this game. It's up to Hoxer to keep it up. The Dudes are looking to drop this one down and take game number 1, and they do so here over the number 2 seed in Birds and Beez. A great start for the Dudes.
And I really did give a lot of credit to Birds and Beez based off of just Hoxer and Miss's performance alone at WSOE, but they really did struggle to get through that midfield line of the Dudes. That whole middle game was just all Joe Freshness, Skills, and Ralph doing a great job commanding the midfield line.
And again, I'm going to say it for the third time, the main concern that you have looking at this game from Birds and Beez was just the double commits. Between the top of the box and the midfield, it was Hoxer and Miss a couple times in that game that let so much space open up for the Dudes to have some fun in the final third, and they were able to really play with the Birds and Beez. They were stuck on their line. We even saw it at the end of that game where the Birds and Beez just watching this play develop because they can do nothing about it. The Dudes had all the boost, all possession, and they were able to put shots on target or at least make it tough for the Birds and Beez to sit on their own end.
And it really got to give a lot of credit to Joe Freshness as well. Again, a guy that's kind of coming out comparatively to other players like Ralph, Mist, and Roldiz, who we've seen a bunch of times. Good job to you, sir, for doing a quality job, making some great challenges, some great blocks. But, of course, Skills able to make the biggest play. He kind of got the whole thing started in that corner. So despite this definitely feeling like a Dude's favorite game, it was very close, and it could have easily gone the other way as game number 2 about to get underway on Utopia Coliseum. I mean, Birds and Beez, it really just is a matter of finding those clears into space, which is what the Dudes were doing a great job of in game 1.
Yeah, the transition from the Dudes was fantastic, and I think Birds and Beez, it's really just that one simple mistake of double committing, and this game is completely different. This series is completely different.
Well, the kickoff in game 2 will be favoring Hoxer, Roldiz, and Mist as they get to punch one down into the blue corner. Joe Freshness, first opportunity at it. Free ball on the midfield line. Roldiz to an empty back wall, and Skills able to get up there. Will cost a lot of boost to keep it going. And again, Dude's just trying to get that touch to beat the first man, which is half the battle, and 2 demos from Skills. Going to put a lot of pressure on Hoxer to try and keep this ball going and buy a lot of time. And credit to him, he did a great job.
Did a great job, but he had no one up for him as he put the ball across the final third there. Of course, everyone was demoed. Great from Skills to do it. Now, again, Skills really being the man with the plan here for the Dudes. Is he able to push the ball down the field? He's been very impressive here in game number 1 and already in game number 2, looking to be that high-impact player for the Dudes.
Already Some long, clear battles happening in game number 2. It's Ralph, as he might have caught Rolled Is going for boost. He was trying to get a bump off the back wall from Joe Freshness. A good idea. If he'd connected, it would have been a surefire scoring chance, just like this one. Skills down to the top of the box, and Joe Freshness into the back of the net.
And Joe Freshness, he was headhunting there in the box, and then Skills able to pick up the ball, and it's that second touch that really throws off the defense. He beats the first man in the air, and the man on the line's got to come out, forcing him to come towards the ball, and the attacker can put it right past him. And of course, it's the Doods back on top by 1.
Ball in the midfield off the kickoff will be favoring once again Birds and Beez. As Rolled Is, free ball, Hoxer's really going to have to stretch for this one. It's actually uncontested, and they will find an equalizer just a mere 20 seconds later.
And Mist putting this one towards the corner, and it's that booming clear from Rolled Is that allows Hoxer to get up, catches the Doods out. A great touch from Hoxer, definitely don't want to downplay that one, but a great clear to get out on transition for Birds and Beez, and they find the opportunity immediately.
Hoxer able to take away that boost in the midfield line, almost able to take a bite out of Joe Freshness as he went over his head. Rolled Is takes a little bit of a cut from the Doods as they're trying to figure out how they want to get this ball out of their corner. They did such a great job of it in game number 1, and game number 2, much more smothering effort from Birds and Beez, as they really aren't willing to give them hardly any space to work with. Back wall cleared away from Ralph. Joe Freshness gets it out to space, but a free ball for Mist. A gentleman's game right now with some long clears back and forth, and let's see who makes the first mistake.
That's really what they're fishing for. You want to see them actually kind of bring the ball down into a dribble or find some passing plays, or maybe how about an air dribble there from Ralph, not able to keep up with it. But right now, like you said, a lot of respect given from both sides, from both teams here, and now an opportunity developing for Birds and Beez.
And again, Skills having to use a lot of boost to get that ball off the back wall. That's the second time in this game that the back wall has been completely undefended, and they've had to use a lot of resources to get up there and get that ball to safety. But they have managed to accomplish the task every time, and Missed slow lift. Skills the first one to it, and back wall straight down. Tough read for Hoxer. Ralph on the pre-jump, almost able to get there and just muscle one through it. Skills is now up early, and they're really trying to force a mistake out of Birds and Beez. The problem is, it's just, you're asking for too much with too little.
Being very threatening. Now Hoxer trying to find his way through the midfield, but the Dude's doing a great job of controlling the midfield and having priority. Any ball that's coming out, again, just being met by a Dude's player. And Birds and Beez have really struggled, and this is 2 games now of just having control of the midfield and finding a way out past the Dude's defender.
Well, Joe Freshness just handed him the ball on the midfield line. Rolled Is not able to find the second touch. Chipped towards the top of the box, and Joe Freshness, now it's just buy time because he knows his team's going to need it for a moment. It's Ralph to the midfield. Rolled Is again, the back wall. Skills able to get up to it. Kick it to safety, but this one, Rolled Is, he knew he wanted to get around that one a little bit more and get it out towards the top of the box. Unfortunately, that'll really slow the attack down here from Birds and Beez. But still, uncontested out of the midfield. They definitely, while there have been instances of the Dudes really being able to put some pressure on the midfield line and keep it over on the Birds and Beez half of the field, it really does feel like Birds and Beez have definitely also figured that out here in game number 2. First opportunity back the other way in a fair bit of time, and it'll be an uncontested ball for Birds and Beez as they try and push out.
Yeah, they're doing a much better job of controlling the midfield now, not letting the Dudes out too easily, and when they do, you saw in that last play, no boost. This is going to come straight down. No player from Birds and Beez there to meet it. A good shot there from Rolled Is, and it goes in off of a Dudes defender. A 2-1 game now opens up.
And it was Skills on the line. He had to deal with somebody coming at him to demo, and it was indeed Hoxer. And I don't know if he really got a clip of him that made the difference, but either way, a tough play to be made, and they just couldn't get the job done. So Birds and Beez will steal the lead with 45 left with some great defense out of the midfield line. And off the backboard one more time, a touch to the right-hand side. Ralph will be able to clear that no problem.
Now looking for an answer from the Dudes. They've had a couple opportunities in this game. Joe Freshness now trying to find something off the corner. Does come back to him off the backboard now. Nobody from the Dudes met there by Mist and Rolled Is. The pitch comes down, and with 20 seconds left, the Dudes have got to go.
Need to see the hard press indeed. Free ball out of the midfield. Rolled Is. Great control just to waste time and force the challenge. Ralph in close support. Skills Needs help from Joe Freshness. Actually a quality touch and puts him in a bit of an awkward position here. Everybody's flat-footed. Joe Freshness wants the bump, and Roll Diz not going to let him have it. Mist will kill it, and Birds and Beez will tie up the series 1-1.
And it was a smart play there from Joe Freshness to go for that bump. He knew he had support in the third man coming through, just couldn't connect. And if you think if he did, there could have been a real opportunity for the Doods either way. Now, a tied series between these two teams. We wouldn't have it any other way. Close game for both games, number 1 and 2, 1-goal games. And you feel like it was pretty even throughout this game as well. Birds and Beez had their chances. The Doods went down the field, had a couple of their own. It didn't really feel like anyone was in complete control.
Not complete control, but I do feel Birds and Beez definitely in command of the pace. They really didn't allow the Doods to have anywhere near as much the same success in getting those clears and getting more opportunities back on the other side of the ball. The midfield defense much better from Birds and Beez in game number 2. Yes, there was that one instance at maybe, I don't know, the 2.5, maybe 3-minute mark where the Doods were able to string together a couple of different opportunities on net. But Birds and Beez, much better job out of the midfield and locking down and not letting the Doods find those clears into space and get everything set up.
And I have to say the big playmakers for the Doods have been Joe Freshness and Skills, putting the ball down the field and just forcing these opportunities to come for the Doods. And Birds and Beez have slowly started to figure it out. Didn't let Joe Freshness, like you said, have as much freedom as we saw in game number 1, but still a threatening team from the Doods, and Birds and the Beez able to come out by 1. But I think that for the Birds and Beez here, it's about controlling that midfield and not letting the Doods control and get inside of your head on your own final third. It's game number 3, and we're about to find out who takes the lead in this series.
The clear game is what I want to see come back for the Doods. It worked so well. Just able to force Hoxer, Roll Diz, and Mist to give you space because you found a hole. Really was able to generate a lot of quality opportunities for them, so I'd like to see them just be able to beat that first man, and it will probably make the difference. As Ralph is trying to do just that, he's got it through Roll Diz, but Mist lurking. Hoxer, 1-2, and into the lower right-hand side of the net. Joe Freshness, a save off the back wall, and that one kind of came out of nowhere.
It's really the first time we've seen from Birds and Beez set up something strong in the midfield, a passing play, and a ripper of a shot to the net. And again, not going in, but great from Joe Freshness to be back. Birds and Beez slowly starting to heat up.
Hoxer off the back wall, and again, a lot of holes on that back wall for the Doods. You got to wonder if eventually Birds and Beez will be able to take advantage of it. All it takes is a little bit of boost steal, and they won't be able to go up and get that ball anymore. So if Birds and Beez able to find a way to get this ball stuck close in the blue half, here's a viable option for them. But so much space being given right now, and Ralph is kind enough to just punt it right at them. That's one where the awareness of the pitch will really come in to help you.
And Birds and Beez doing a much better job now. They're finding this ball in the midfield, not letting the Doods out, but maybe a double tap from Joe Freshness. Beautiful touch from him, and he puts it away.
I did not see this one coming at all. Just took the ball away, and what a 1-2. Missed flat-footed in the net. How often are you expecting that shot to go to the back post? Tip your cap, Joe Freshness.
And all the pressure was coming from Birds and Beez, but the Doods go down the field the first time here in game number 3, and Joe Freshness puts away a banger. Great start for the Doods.
Similar start to game number 1. They scored first and were able to come out on top. Scored first in game number 2 as well, but Birds and Beez were able to find a quick equalizer. Can they repeat as they've got a great opportunity? Roll Diz wants the fake, and we'll just push it right through him. Excellent positioning from Roll Diz.
He got inside the head of the last defender here and made him think about it, made Ralph hesitate just enough to squeak by, and Ralph left that back post open just by a hair. Roll Diz saw it, and he puts it away. A beautiful control from Roll Diz, and knowing what that defender's thinking and being inside his head, forcing him to make the decision, and he's able to put the ball away.
It was just masterful. However, Ralph has an opportunity as Hoxer, bit of a weak clear from the midfield line, a chance for the Doods to lock down, but Joe Freshness trying to get that pass across. Hoxer was able to land and be right in the middle of the passing lane. Touch to Skills and a 1-2 will buy them a little bit of space to work with. This is where the Doods were really good back in game number 1. The challenge game was so great after they were able to find some space to work with. Can they repeat? And again, Ralph quality touch to the side, but Hoxer already pressing. Roll Diz into the middle for Mist. He's got Skills beat. They need help down into the middle. A bit of an awkward bounce. Hoxer still able to find some contact. And Joe Freshness just clears it long just to have some breathing room. They'll steal away the corner boost as well. Maybe blunt the sword of this push coming out from Birds and Beez.
That's a pass right out to Hoxer. Not what Ralph wanted. You're seeing a lot of boom ball come out from the Doods, just trying to get away from that pressure. Birds and Bees have really turned it on here.
Ooh.
Joe Freshness, a weak shot, and here comes Birds and Bees. Missed.
Wow.
Met by Ralph, though, at the top of the box. Great recognition of that as that play was developing, but still Miss has an opportunity, puts it down and away. The last defender couldn't get there, and Birds and Bees up by 1.
And this was just a real awkward position for Joe Freshness to be in the net. Just that high kick right when you're rotating in towards the near post. To top it all off, Mist hits you with a bounce shot behind you, no less. And he was really just crisscrossed from the first second he rotated into the net.
And that's a tough one there for the Doods. A lot of space opened up for Mist to take that shot. Had a lot to choose from as well. And like you said, chose the weak shot down on the bounce. And here comes Birds and the Bees once more. That's a big bump. That one's to the back of the net. Mist and Roltiz linking up here, up by 2 for Birds and Bees.
And off the kickoff, just Hawks are able to get to that ball so fast out of the corner. And again, the empty back wall. Skills actually trying to follow it up that back wall, but just too much pace on it. And for once, some fruit born off the back wall for Birds and Bees, and to top that off, a nice 2-goal lead. So what can the Dudes hope for now? Because that boom ball really isn't helping them as it did back in game number 1. They just haven't been able to really hang on to the ball as much as they would like.
And it's getting scary for the Dudes here. Birds and Bees really finding their form here in game number 3 and doing a great job of making these attempts downfield dangerous, tough to save. And that one, another one, it's just going to go in for Roltiz. I thought the last defender might have the save, but no, it goes right over his head. As you see Ralph trying to get up, he does make contact, but Roltiz is above him. Puts it down and away. Skills was just not ready for the play.
And that second touch as well from Roltiz put a lot more power than you might be expecting from the guy on the line. I'm still with you, though. I think he definitely should have been able to get up there and stop that one, considering how far away he came at him, but perhaps made him blink twice. And the lead 3 in game number 3 as well. Definitely going to be out of reach a little bit here for the Dudes, barring a miracle. And this is really the first chance they've had to have an opportunity to stick on offense, and that's really been the biggest win for Birds and Bees. Was after game number 1, they stepped up the challenge game just a little bit. And it really has been all on the Dudes to find a new way to get that ball past the midfield line and hang on to it.
Well, Birds and Bees are doing a lot more with the ball, too. They start off this game with a great passing play and a quick shot on net there. And ever since then, Birds and Bees have really found themselves when they push down the field, making it tough for the Dudes, and the Dudes just have no response for it. Like you said, the boom ball has been very tough for them to really get anything going. And, you know, minus a great double touch from Joe Freshness, we haven't seen too much offense. This one comes off the back wall, and it's met by Skills here. Maybe an opportunity as everyone leaves him. Roltiz not able to respond to the play here. Joe Freshness now off the back wall, looking for the follow-up. Not there from Ralph, and Roltiz again comes through and clears this ball away.
Oh, another opportunity. Here we go. They're keeping the ball close and stuck to him on the corner. Nice little catch and give to the corner of the box from Skills. And they do cut the deficit to 2, and this game looks a lot more doable with 30 seconds. Stretch, absolutely, but 30 seconds is more than enough time. They do need a good kickoff.
They need one quick here. You love to do it earlier rather than later here, as the kickoff doesn't really go in favor. Actually given up by Miss to Joe Freshness. So in the end, 2 of the Dudes go, and Skills just trying to keep this ball on the Birds and Bees half, trying to force something for the Dudes.
Double commit. The bump in the net, and again, another big difference. Roltiz already willing to be up there on that back wall and play that defense and make sure there was going to be nothing. Just kill that ball and that play before anything could happen, and Mist will put game number 3 out of reach. The Birds and Bees kind of run away with this one in the middle of game number 3. And to go back to what you were talking about a little bit, Corelli, yeah, I think the boom ball really didn't play too much favor with the Dudes, and that is exactly what I want to talk about, because it's not like the Birds and Bees haven't been giving them space to work with. It really just is making sure they can get a handle on it, stick it, catch the ball on your hood, force a dribble, force a challenge, because that's 2 games in a row now where just launching it up the field hasn't worked. You got to be able to recognize, all right, they're giving me the space. You have to take it.
Well, it's something that I kind of preach a lot. When you bring the ball down, And no matter what fashion it is, you go into a dribble, you force a defender to come to you and make a decision.
They create opportunity.
It creates an opportunity for you. And when you boom the ball down the field into your opponent's corner, you made the decision for them. They have to go to the corner and respond to the ball. That's it. They don't go to the other corner. They don't drive down the field. They have to go to that corner and respond to the play that you made them you put them in.
And the clearest example of that was that Roll Diz dribble, remember. Dribbles create opportunities because that dribble from Roll Diz, it made Hoxer sit on that line and think a couple extra half second and think about how he was going to defend that ball. And that little bit of hesitation is what allowed Roll Diz to say, you gave me the right-hand side, position and block that ball towards that way. Now, dribbles are powerful tools.
Let's give credit to Birds and Bees. This was their best game by far. Everything was clicking for them. And while the Dudes definitely made mistakes, I feel like Birds and Bees, like I said earlier in that game, definitely on form. And I think this is the type of Birds and Bees they want to showcase on stream.
Well, game number 4 and potentially the end of the series looming. Birds and Bees so close, but you got to get through another 5 minutes, and the Dudes looking to rally here. It will start off with a kickoff that was briefly in their favor, but can they hang on to it to the midfield line? Disaster strikes, and Hoxer, 10 seconds in, delivers.
Great shot there from Hoxer, and a miss, just a light clear. Hoxer actually lands to the right of the ball. Ralph's trying to respond to the play, but he's just a little bit too late there, not able to get there in time, and it's a great shot to the back of the net from Hoxer to put it away.
Ill omen to kick off game number 4 for the Dudes, and you'd love to see a quick response if you're for them. They might have done it. A pinch off the side. Rolled is in a race, and he's just able to get there. And from bad to worse, the Dudes' second opportunity pinged off the bar off an open net.
And that one hurts for the Dudes right there. The second chance was their best chance. The second opportunity not able to fall, but still the pressure's on from the Dudes. Joe Freshness finds a little bit of space. Skills try to put this one on target. And while Mist doesn't deal with it that well, Roll Diz there to bail him out, and the Birds and Bees are out.
Skills has gained command in the midfield. Again, a little bit of space to work with. Ralph quickly through one, and Hoxer keeping it as close as possible with a bit of an awkward catch, but so much space being given by the Dudes on the midfield line there. However, fortunate enough to get it put right on the hood, and Joe Freshness, excuse me, going through Mist as it's off the back wall, and Hoxer already up there to clear it.
Joe Freshness has been very dangerous, and this is extremely dangerous as he drops it down to the back of the net. Great play from Ralph and Joe Freshness. Nobody home for Birds and Bees.
And it really was just great reactions from Ralph. Immediately up for that ball. Clean beat on the defender, and everybody caught grabbing some boost or landing from the previous touch. And that's just A+ for Ralph, and Joe Freshness, a solid, clean finish.
And Joe Freshness now, out of the 5 goals that the Dudes have scored in this series, 4 of them have been from Joe. He has been a spectacular player so far here, creating opportunities and, more importantly, completing them for the Dudes.
Well, here come Birds and Bees, and again, Roller is trying to make the defense dance a little bit. Skills with a missed touch. Ralph will lend a helping hand and just punch that ball into a little hole that they found in the midfield. Joe Freshness towards the net. They want the demo on the line. They can't find it, but Mist has missed the ball, and Ralph has a chance to put one away, and he just can't find the upper corner. And Roll Diz will try and get this one past the midfield line. Again, another opportunity squandered for the Dudes.
Another opportunity squandered, but the defense holds strong for Birds and Bees. They got the demolition that slowed down the attack a little bit there as no one was able to follow up immediately. Joe Freshness had to come off the respawn, but still, the Dudes, you look back at that moment here in this game and you feel like they could be up 2-1.
Well, that's a beautiful tip from Ralph to Joe Freshness. However, Roll Diz, again, the backboard defense already up and online for the Birds and Bees, and that has been one big difference. And to be fair, while that difference hasn't paid any dividends for Birds and Bees, it is a good quality you like to see from a team about to go into the rival series. The backboard is one of the biggest things people struggle to defend, and Birds and Bees already seeming to have a solid grasp of it.
And they're doing a lot better on not double committing, something we harped on the first game, and that's really what's paid dividends in the last 2 games, and you're seeing it here. Much more disciplined defense coming out from Birds and Bees, and while it has been dicey at some times, still, the Dudes haven't really been able to break it down.
And Mist trying to find a bump on Ralph as Joe Freshness will make Roll Diz wait a couple seconds to get back on the pitch. As he will come back online on the side wall. Hand one off to Hoxer, but it's a free ball for the Dudes, and Joe Freshness is going to have to find a way to hang on to this ball. He's actually given it up for Mist. And a nice, well, I thought it was going to be a nice back pass from Mist. However, they've just taken it away on the Dudes' half and punched it right into the Birds and Bees corner, and now it's just We're back to boom ball, which has not been favoring the Dudes overall, but now they've got a dribble opportunity and missed right there. Skills to continue the push past the top of the box and nobody home.
The Dudes still looking much better in this game. A lot more opportunity, a lot more control going down the field, but you're seeing now Hawks are trying to force this one around the bend there. Met by 3 Dudes. Not able to break down the defense and back the other way we go.
Duke can steal away that corner boost, however, and miss just a quality challenge at the edge of his own box. Trying to keep this ball as close as possible. Back wall for Hoxer, lifted to the top, and a double commit from Birds and Bees, and a little bit of a slow pickup from them. However, it's right down the gut and missed in the right place. Able to make a nice clean stop. Shot to any side of the net, probably finds its way into the back.
Well, you mentioned a slow play there from Joe Freshness, but he was trying to line up and get around that ball to set up the pass. It was really calculated from him. And with a minute left now, both these teams having chances on both ends of the field. It really comes down to who cracks under pressure.
Well, the Dudes have definitely been threatening here for the past 45 seconds or so. And they continue to do so as Ralph picks one up on the midfield line. Roll Diz, weak clear, trying to stick it as close as possible, force some challenges, top of the box. Joe Freshness not there to close the gap. And a chance for Birds and Bees to break out. Tip for Mist around Ralph and actually able to just get the bumper on it. And Skills now going to force a dribble through the midfield line.
Skills has been a little bit quiet here in the latter half of this series. Not so much coming out from him. Of course, Joe's been the star of the play, or for the team here in Dudes. But again, Birds and Bees finding a lot more control of the midfield. 10 seconds left now on the Birds and Bees half. The Dudes looking for something. That small hole in the defense. Hawks are able to clear that one away. Maybe one more shot as it's put towards the midfield. That'll die. We're going to overtime.
And it would be a gutting loss for the Dudes as well, with so many great chances here in this game number 4. Couple off the post, some open nets missed, and opportunities left begging as Skills gets one off the kickoff. Joe Freshness has everybody beat, however missed a great challenge and a quick transition back.
Oh, he got it!
And Ralph can't quite tip it above the crossbar. Roll Diz will put Birds and Bees into the rival series.
Just as you thought the Dudes were gonna do it in overtime, Roll Diz marches down the field, throws it past the last defender just enough to find the back of the net.